many times have you heard the phrase, especially with Musk trying to spout it again now, that actually the left were the Nazis, not the right, just the left. Shapaggio says it's Asmund's gold digger, not his girlfriend. I mean, I don't think Dick Cheese is considered gold, but I mean, she would have to dig for it. Senna, thank you for resubscribing. I appreciate it. Anyway, I've been hearing the Nazis are on the left thing, but there's a very interesting way that I've seen this articulated recently, and it's right about here.
Newsflash, if Hitler was alive today, he would have identified with the blue-haired vegan lesbian leftist and not the Conservative Party. Did you know that? Fact check true.
Right. So, question, did the Nazi Party kill homosexuals? Just real quick, let's just very quickly look this over. Yes. 100,000 just men were arrested and then possibly later killed, because between 10,000 and 15,000 gay men were sent to concentration camps and were forced to wear pink triangles for identification. So I don't think that he would have identified with them. Now, interesting that you use that word, though. I think that there actually is an argument to be made that early on in his career, Hitler would have. We know that Hitler was a vegetarian. We know that he fancied himself an artist. We know that he very well might have aligned himself with those interests. But we know that thanks to events like the Night of Long Knives, we know where his interests ultimately lied. But we know that when the Nazi Party took power, around the 30s, it actually was, like early 30s, it was actually a German Workers' Party. It was usurped by Hitler because language that appeals to the common man and the workers in general is very, very popular. Language that argues that, yes, you too can be the hero of the nation. You are the backbone of our country. Those are things that appeal to people, especially when they're in economic crisis. And workers were definitely in economic crisis around the time that the Nazis took power. Would he have identified with the blue-haired lesbian feminists as a political ploy in order to kill them later? Because that's historically exactly what he did? Sure. But would he have actually been one of them? Would he have actually identified with them in his heart of hearts? Fuck no.
I think that most libs are Nazis.
Most libs are Nazis. Okay, hold on. Real quick. We're just very quick. Let's go over some of the beliefs of the Nazi Party, and let's see if they're the same beliefs that you can find with liberals. The Nazi Party believed in the Aryan master race, the idea of there being an Übermensch. I don't generally hear that kind of idea spouted by liberals. The Nazi Party believes in a biological hierarchy, that human worth is judged entirely by race. The only way you can come to that conclusion is if you think that equity is a form of biological hierarchy, trying to make sure that more black people and women are hired in places that have historically been dominated by white men. That's somehow some form of biological hierarchy, when no, it's actually an argument against a currently existing hierarchy. They believed in persecuting subhuman people that they believed to be subhuman, which also included, gay people and trans people and Slavs and Romani people and, oh right, I forgot, the Jews. They believed that the Jews were subhuman too, so they murdered them as well. Also, they believe in having a primary enemy to focus the rage of the nation. This is in line with every single type of fascist, and their primary enemy was the Jews. They created a fuck ton of conspiracy theories in order to justify killing the Jews. Now, how many of those perspectives are liberal ideas? Just real quick, I'll also do a quick Google just to double check myself. Let's see, what liberal ideas are there? Liberals believe in social safety nets, economic regulation, fair taxation, defending freedom of speech and freedom of religion, and separating church and state, and believe in social reform so that people can be more included. And criminal justice is made as a form of rehabilitation, not persecution and also murder. So, these groups seem violently opposed to one another, my good bitch.
Socialists. Nazi stands for National Socialists.
And the Democratic Republic of North Korea is a democracy and also a republic instead of a dictatorship. Also, the Chinese Communist Party is also actually communists, despite the fact that their actual economy is state capitalism. Please see Tencent. Right. You're just an idiot.
They're socialists. They universal health care and open borders and import the third world. So they'll.
Did they have open borders? No, they did imperialist expansion. Imperialist expansion is not open borders. Open borders is we're welcoming everybody. They didn't fucking do that. They killed people who were different within their borders and then tried to expand their borders out. An open border policy respects that the other nation exists. An expansionist policy does not. They had an expansionist policy. Also, the healthcare thing. To try to argue that healthcare suddenly makes one Nazi is fucking dumb. I'm sorry. Said, so socialists aren't Nazis, but Nazis are socialists, aren't the same thing? But the Nazis aren't socialists. They aren't. They have the name socialist in their name, but they are not socialists. A socialist, in its broadest of definitions, in the broadest stroke, is somebody who believes the means of production should be owned entirely by the working class, the proletariat. If you do not believe that the proletariat should own the means of production, this is industry in general, then you are not a socialist. That is not what that is. The Nazis weren't socialists. They actually killed plenty of socialists in the Night of Long Knives, specifically.
Vote for us because we know that when most immigrants get here, for about 2 or 3 generations, they vote for the party that insisted that they should have citizenship here immediately or illegally and be able to vote whether they're citizens or not. So the entire Democrat Party is socialist today.
No, they're not. If the Democratic Party, as we understand it, was socialist, then they would not be taking as much money as they do from AIPAC. If they were socialist, they would not be fighting as hard as they do against universal health care as a party. Because even when we get a majority in, we do not get all of the fighting for universal care that we should. The Democrats also take way too much money from corporations to be socialist. Because they wouldn't be taking the fucking money in the first place if they believed that other people should be running those corporations. But they don't.
America has more socialism in it than our founders could have possibly ever imagined in their dizziest daydreams.
Yeah, sure. America is more socialist today than it was at its founding because socialist policies tend to also be very progressive. And generally speaking, the morality of the day tends to lean more progressive at any given day than it did at any given time 10 years prior. And that effect compounds the further back you get. Technically speaking, sure, that statement is not entirely incorrect, but it's also missing every single point possible.
And they believe there's an entire class of human beings that are not persons and can be slaughtered by the state in the name of freedom for others.
Right. What's that class of people? What's the class of people we're talking about that can be slaughtered by the state? Because I'm a socialist and I don't believe the death penalty is a thing that we should allow at all. Who's the type of person that I believe should be slaughtered by the state? Because I'm going to be honest, I don't even think we should be slaughtering the billionaires with the state. I don't think the state should have that authority. Pan says, see, I was told growing up that socialists are all Nazis, never believed it, but it's a common thing people are told, apparently. Yes, it is a common thing that people are told. But okay, I'm just going to do the thing again where I Google socialist beliefs and I list them off real quick so that I'm not shooting from my hip. What are the shared beliefs of socialists? Shared ownership of major industries, factories, and resource. So, owning the means of production. Meeting human needs. The economy should focus on making life better for everybody, like providing free healthcare, housing, and food, rather than just making money and private profit. Equality and fairness. Everybody deserves a fair start in their life, equal respect, and a real voice in how their workplace and society are ran. There's your tenets of socialism. That's slightly more specific than what I said, but that's what it am. Said people keep conflating socialist and communist. Yeah, communism is a classless, moneyless, stateless society. Said communism is a form of socialism. Technically speaking, kind of, sort of. Said it's sad how this is our education system that a slime cat on the internet knows more than most kids. I mean, I also talk about this as a job. So the only reason that I know as much as I do is that this is my job. And even then, I'm a fucking idiot. I get all kinds of stuff wrong. And I have to be corrected by my own audience when I do. And I'm always thankful when they do. I cannot state how happy I am that I have an audience that gives me the pushback that they do. Because there's a lot of people who, as creators, just have fucking sycophants. And pushes up glasses, like me, daddy. Jessica, at this point, I don't know if you're joking or not. Is this one of those, like, I'm joking unless ... moments? Said, I am, right. I'm waiting for the ... unless. There it is. There it is. Lily says, Daddy, can I eat some drywall? Sylvie says, Suris, would it help if I called you that band? Fucking hell. What? Why are you like this? Why are all of you like this? Submag says, you're not an idiot. Most of the world has blind spots. We could all use more education. Right, but it's because I have the education that I do that I know that I'm not smart. Like, I know enough to know how many gaps in my knowledge I have, and even that knowledge is sparse. Pants, as I say all the time, when it comes outside my field of expertise, I'm a dumbass. See, I would barely even call this my field of expertise. You know what my field of expertise actually is? Card games. My field of expertise is sitting across from somebody playing a card game. Said, wait, does Suris not like being called Dilf Daddy Slime? Why is it like this? Why are you all like this? I'm never going to be allowed to escape any of this. As we reflect you, yeah, I know. I'm aware. I'm about to start re-enabling things on the channel, and I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea.
I mean, of course liberals are worse than Nazis. They've slaughtered way more little babies in...
Yep, you were right. You were 100% right. It was about the unborn. It was about the unborn. You're right. You've slaughtered so many little babies. Okay. You're right. You're entirely right. That's what it was. Yep. You know what? Fuck it. Yes, we do. 110%. Blowjobs for everybody. 300 million slaughtered per swallow.
The wombs than Hitler ever slaughtered in the entire time he was German Chancellor. So this was for my friends at Right Wing Watch, where I have an assigned W2 viewer of this show, Dr. Weichert. So there you go. I said it for you.
I mean, I found this via Right Wing Watch, so I find that really funny. But yeah, no. I'm glad that you know that you've got an assigned viewer from Right Wing Watch who is actively pointing out when you say stupid shit. Because then it means that my job becomes way easier. The Pan says, Suris, it is a nice type of community to help ease the stress of these things. Oh, believe me. I agree. I'm scared because, like, I'm planning on doing a handful of streamathons where we set a goal to eliminate part of a debt, and then once we hit the goal, the stream turns off. I'm planning on setting those up here soon, and I am worried about what y'all are going to do to me during that, because none of that sounds like it's going to be fun. It sounds like that's going to destroy me, actually. But, is what it is, I guess.
For me.
All right. Well, that's all of him. It's all of his shit. He was referred to as Chancellor for about a year and was Führer for the last decade of his life. Yep, but these types of people always prefer downplaying things when they can, if it helps their arguments. Did you really hope Twitter lets me know about that? Jessica says, where's my BJ? I'm leaving. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.